Hello and welcome to my channel. Thank you for being here. I'm so desperate for views and I really appreciate it. Today I'm doing something super original, unique. No one's ever done it before. I'm doing a tier list. But I am doing a little twist. I'm editing it differently and I'm not doing it like a top 10 and I'm not doing that one that other booktubers do where it's like S tier, A, B, C. I've come up with some categories. You obviously know the title of the video. Best villains of all time. So it could be books, TV, film, whatever. Whatever you like. No, whatever I like. I'm in charge here. My list. I might annoy some of you. I might offend some of you. But I just want to stress, these are my opinions. They're not correct, because they can't be. They're subjective. I have certain tastes that maybe other people don't have. And in some cases, I'm just going to be flat out wrong. But, sue me. So yeah, the first category is the most iconic villain, or rather my favourite iconic villain of fiction. We can go for a few. So Voldemort from Harry Potter is pretty iconic. I mean, with his weird face, but I think he's a little bit terrible. Like, he's boring, he's annoying, and he's got that whole, you know, which, I mean, that might do it for you, but it doesn't do it for me. So, Voldemort, you're gone. But I gave him an honourable mention. That was quite dishonourable. And then with another iconic villain, we could go for Darth Vader. And I feel like most people and most lists would say Darth Vader is the most iconic. And I'm probably going to annoy some Star Wars nerds by saying that I'm not going to go for Darth Vader. Because Darth Vader is iconic. He is actually an icon. All you need to see is a silhouette of Darth Vader. And you can look at that silhouette of the shape of Darth Vader and you can either go, oh wow, that's Darth Vader, or oh wow, that's the woman's bathroom. But either way, I actually think Darth Vader is pretty underdeveloped as a character. I mean, yeah, okay, we get more into his backstory in the prequels, but that's let down by the fact that the prequels are pretty camp and terrible. And what was George thinking? But Darth Vader is definitely an icon, but he hasn't been executed as well as I think the character that I'm going to go for has been. And I think the most iconic villain is the Joker. More specifically, I like Mark Hamill's Joker. So I'm still linking it to Star Wars a little bit, but like his performance in games and in the animation and visually, he still looks like the comic book Joker. And I find the most iconic image of the Joker is the Joker from The Killing Joke, which I believe he also voiced for the animation. But either way, I think the Joker is insanely iconic and awesome, so he wins that category. The next one is the most scary, because some villains do have to be scary, and we've got a few options, you know. We've got Jack Torrance from The Shining. I mean, he's pretty scary. I mean, sometimes nearer the end, he's pretty scary. I don't know, we've got people like the Woman in Black. She's pretty freaky. She scares the bejeebus out of me. We got people like Mike Myers, not Shrek, the Halloween dude. Who else is scary? Freddy Krueger. We got Hannibal Lecter as an honorable mention. I mean, Hannibal Lecter is like, especially Anthony Hopkins portraying him with those eyes. That's definitely my second choice, Hannibal Lecter. But I'm gonna go with Leatherface because he's got a face stuck to his face, and he kills people with a chainsaw, and he's got a face stuck to his face. Next category is the most fun. I mean, there's loads of fun villains. We like a good fun villain. You got Captain Hook, especially Dustin Hoffman's portrayal of him in Hook. You got Dr. Evil, although that's more of a joke villain, but he definitely is very fun. Harry and Marv from Home Alone, they're some very fun villains to watch just disintegrate on screen. Count Olaf in A Series of Unfortunate Events is a good one. But for my pick, I'm going with Moriarty. More specifically, what's the actor's name? Andrew Scott's portrayal in the BBC's Sherlock. I think the way he bounces off Benedict Cumberbatch is great. He has this energy whenever he's on screen where he just steals the show, and he's just a really fun villain. My only complaint with him is actually that we don't see him enough. He isn't used enough. Sherlock's too short. There's not enough Moriarty, but he's my pick for the most fun villain. The next one is the most intimidating. So I'm looking for a villain that's, you know, they just lock onto you with those eyes. They are a position of authority. So it's not about being scary, it's about having control. Whenever they are in the room, they are in control. You know, they hold everyone on edge because they control what's happening. And that to me is intimidation. You could go with Wilson Fisk from Daredevil, Anton Chigurh, I don't know how to pronounce it, from No Country for Old Men. He has a presence whenever he's on screen, and you really see that when he has these slow, silent scenes where he's just playing with people's lives. Miss Trunchbull from Matilda, she's pretty intimidating in a different way. Hers is less cool and collected as Wilson and Anton, but whenever she's in the room, everyone's like, oh my god, is she going to grab me by my pigtails and swing me over a fence? For that, she gets an honourable mention. But I'm going to go with the Lion himself, Tywin Lannister. When Game of Thrones was good, it's too soon.
It's been a year.
It's too soon. Rest in peace. What once was a good show. Oh god, I actually made myself cry then.
It's been over a year. It's been 2 years.
Yeah, I'm not over it. But when Game of Thrones was good, well, just when he was in it, okay, Tywin Lannister was my favourite character. He just had such a presence. And I can think exactly to one specific scene in the show that really makes this obvious. There's a scene where he's talking to Joffrey, and Joffrey's sitting on the throne, Tywin's at the bottom of the steps, Joffrey's giving it all that, like the snotty little brat that he is, and Tywin just calmly walks up the stairs and stands over Joffrey, looking down at Joffrey. And the king shuffles nervously in his chair, and Tywin just stands there and looks at him like the stern granddad that he is. This is the best villain ever. Like, he's so intimidating. Just, he can't fight. He's old, you know. He just has this authority about him that's really well written, really well performed by Charles Dance. So Tywin wins the spot of most intimidating. Now the next one is a bit more genre-y. Genre-y? Genre-esque. I guess in other types of fiction you want your villain to be more human, a bit more morally grey sometimes. But this is just good old most evil. Who is my favourite evil villain? And I'm gonna piss some people off because I'm not gonna go for Sauron because he's just a floating eye. He's just a big floating eye. Oh man, some Lord of the Rings fans are gonna go apeshit at that.
Actually, he's not a floating eye. He's a Dark Lord.
Yeah, okay, you can take the piss and act like you're not one of those people, but it's one of your favourite things, so don't be rude.
But Sauron, he's a bit boring, isn't he? But I acknowledge that he's pretty evil, so he's on the list. Like, he's on the honourable mentions list. I could go for Hans Landa from Inglourious Bastards. I mean, he's a Nazi. Can't get more evil than that, can you? You could go for Hannibal Lecter again. I mean, he's pretty evil. Then you have the Game of Thrones characters. You've got Ramsay Bolton and Joffrey Baratheon. Them two are just... George R. R. Martin has a way of just creating the most hateable people. Oh, God, I hate Ramsay so much. But I'm not going to pick another Game of Thrones character. I think, in my opinion, my favourite evil villain is Eamon Gough. I think I pronounced that properly. From Schindler's List. I mean, he's not from Schindler's List, he's from history. And maybe that's a bit of a cop-out. Picking an actual historical person to be my evil villain, because it's sort of like picking someone's portrayal of Hitler in a film. Like, obviously Hitler's evil, you know, but it's more Ralph Fiennes' performance in Schindler's List that really made this character something special. In a bad way. I don't condone all that Nazi stuff. No way. But just, he is a really chilling character in that film, and I think he definitely deserves this spot. I just picked a Nazi officer and said he's more evil than Sauron. Oh man, Sauron is like literally a servant of the devil, essentially.
Yeah, but Nazis are pretty shit too.
Yeah, Nazis are pretty shit too. Next is most hateable. Napoleon in Animal Farm is pretty hateable. Nurse Ratchet from One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest is pretty hateable. Warden North from Shawshank Redemption, like, he's just a dick. Kraus from Detroit. I don't know if any of you've seen Detroit. It's set during the civil rights movement. I think it's set during the 60s in Detroit. And Will Poulter, the actor, you know, the one with the eyebrows, you know? He plays this like racist police officer, and oh man, his performance was incredible. You hate him so much. I've never hated anyone more whilst watching a film than this guy, except the one that wins this category. And my winner, and I think everyone's going to agree with me on this one, it's Dolores effing Umbridge. Dolores Umbridge in Harry Potter is just, like, J.K. Rowling did something special there, creating someone that was just so bloody hateable. She is the worst. She's the worst. Like, Hermione should take the time turner, go back to infant, like baby Umbridge, and just sleep, Dolores. Fuck, I've got issues. But I think everyone can agree that Umbridge is literally the most hateable villain of all time. The next one is, I think, the opposite of hateable. No, the opposite of hateable would be likeable. The next one's the most relatable. So when I'm going to decide who's the most relatable, I don't necessarily mean like, oh yeah, I totally vibe with this person. But it's about understanding the villain's motivations. It's about going like, yeah, okay, maybe I disagree, or maybe I think that you're definitely doing this, like you're going about this the wrong way, you're definitely a villain. But I get it. I sort of get it, you know, I get why you're doing this. I mean, you are killing loads of kids, and you are blowing up cities and all that, but yeah, I get why. Gollum is pretty relatable. He's got this innocence, this naivety. I see him as an allegory for addiction. Part of him is innocent and still a child, but then this other nasty, corrupt part of him is obsessed with the One Ring. And you see this dynamic where he fights with himself throughout these films, and you pity him, you know, as Frodo pities him, you pity him. You hate him at times, sure, but at times you love him, and I think he's quite relatable in that sense, this struggling, corrupted character. And then you have ones where you get where they're coming from, but you still disagree with them. So Thanos, he's wrong, okay? He wants to kill a lot of people. He is like, this, it's not how you go about this. But he's right. There is affinity in resources. There is a problem with overpopulation, and he wants to make the universe a better place. But I mean, you don't do that by killing half of everyone that's alive. That's just, dude, man. Like, go and protest. You know, like, do a sit down protest, or like a walking march. Go to Whitehall and protest outside 10 Downing Street. You know, get a petition with 100,000 signatures. Don't try and get 5 magical stones to kill half the universe. That's just going a bit too far, isn't it?
You wanted to start a petition for the government to consider killing half of everybody.
If he goes through the legal measures. But my winner for this category is going to be another Game of Thrones character, and I think a lot of you will agree with me on this, Cersei Lannister, right? Because she's got all these expectations, she's got all these complexities, and the way that she has to make a name for herself in this world, despite being a woman, and there's a level of patriarchy within Westeros, and the way she deals with those dynamics, and the way she deals with people that she doesn't like, and how good she is at getting what she wants, and yet things going wrong for her anyway. A lot of us really don't like Cersei, a lot of us really hate Cersei, but I think everyone cheered when she blew up the Sept, right? Everyone was like, yes! Even though she killed characters we like, because it's her just fighting the odds, and that makes her really relatable. Incest aside. That part is all her own shit to deal with. That's the unrelatable bit. Maybe not for some of you. I don't know. Who am I to judge? I'm definitely going to judge incest, actually.
I think you should.
Yeah, if you your brother, you're a bit messed up. Is it still recording? I'm going to check something.
I'm keeping an eye. Oh my god. What's the point of me being here?
Moral support. Next category is most likeable, and I think this is the one when people are going to disagree with me the most. I sort of disagree with myself, but it's too late now to back out. I've already made my graphics for this video. We could go with the Master from Doctor Who, because even though he's a huge douche and we really hate what he's doing, he's a lot of fun, you know, and we like watching him. I mean, I think John Kramer is pretty likeable, sort of. I mean, he's pretty messed up. I feel like he's likeable if you're a cynical person. Like if you share that sort of mentality of human beings are the worst, they deserve this, then he is a bit likeable. So if you're a really positive, happy-go-lucky person, then maybe he isn't very likeable. I don't know, but that's why he hasn't won. I think Vulture in Spider-Man: Homecoming was pretty likeable. You know, Michael Keaton's likeable, isn't he? He's like everyone's granddad. You know, you just want to ruffle his stubbly head, squeeze his cheeks. And Barbossa from Pirates of the Caribbean. He's technically a villain. Well, he was a villain in the first one, you know, and he's great. You know, he's really likeable. He's got charisma. He's got humor. He's just this. He's got this really cheesy pirate accent.
What are you doing? What are you doing? No, what are you doing? What are you doing? No, what are you doing?
I really like him. And I think a lot of people would probably think that Loki from the MCU should win this. And I think maybe he probably should too. But because I've been recently watching X-Men, I really, really like Magneto. So he wins this category. I feel like Magneto only wins this category because of both performances. You know, like Ian McKellen is really cool and I just really, really love his performance in the first 3 X-Men movies and Days of Future Past. But when Michael Fassbender comes in to play young Magneto, he adds so much depth and layers. And me and my girlfriend were actually watching the 3rd X-Men movie, The Last Stand, and we said Magneto deserves more than this because of all the history and depth that Michael Fassbender's performance gave us. You know, obviously the writing in First Class and stuff helps. I mean, Michael Fassbender didn't do it all on his own. So yeah, the most likeable villain is, in my opinion, Magneto. Although probably actually Loki, but I already decided this before I shot it, so argue with me, whatever, I don't care. And now, in this prestigious awards ceremony, akin to the likes of BAFTA and the Oscars, I'm going to award the best villain of all time. And I know everyone's going to agree with me. All of you. A lot of these have been movies and shows as more than books, because I've been basing a lot of these on people's performances, because sometimes an actor can just capture a character in such a way that you're just captivated. For my best villain of all time, I need to decide, are they likeable? Yes. Are they hateable? Yes. Are they evil? Yes. Are they intimidating? Yes. Are they iconic? Yes. Is the performance amazing? Yes. They are all of these things. They would be at the top of every single one of these lists if it wasn't a huge cop-out. And it still is a huge cop-out because this character has already won one of the categories, but I'm picking a different performance of the same character. I'm picking Heath Ledger's Joker for the best villain of all time. Because his performance is just so well done, and it's unique, yet it still captures the essence of the character. It's iconic, yet it still feels fresh, and it feels like its own thing. And I still don't think it's been beaten. Some people say that Joaquin Phoenix's performance is better, but they are wrong about that. I mean, he won the Oscar for a reason. He won the Oscar and he was dead.
How about a magic trick? I'm gonna make this pencil disappear. Ta-da! It's gone.
It is the best comic book performance for a villain. And The Dark Knight will hold up the test of time as being a superhero film, a comic book movie, and a good piece of cinema. Martin Scorsese can say whatever he wants about comic book movies and about how they're not cinema and how they're theme parks. And he's probably a bit right, but The Dark Knight is not that. The Dark Knight is a good film. It's really well written, it's really well structured, and all the performances are amazing, yet all of them are under the shadow of Heath Ledger. And everyone that will ever play the Joker is also under his shadow. So for that, he gets best villain of all time. I hope you liked my list. If you didn't, that's cool too. Negative publicity is good publicity. No, wait, what's the saying? Any publicity is good publicity. Yeah. So if you do disagree with me, tell me. Debate with me, argue with me, tell me I'm wrong. Engagement is awesome and it gets me up in the algorithm. So please like, please comment, please subscribe, because I want to do more stuff like this. Turn on the notification bell so you know when I'm uploading. Stay tuned. I think that about covers everything, doesn't it?